All right. UAW's in the house. Hello, Michigan. This is how we do it in Michigan, home of the big house. We go big or we go home. On behalf of the 1 million active and retired UAW members, I'm honored to welcome to Michigan the next President of the United States, Kamala Harris. You know, as President of the UAW, I have the honor of fighting for economic and social justice for our members, for the entire working class. From the bargaining table to the ballot box. What we bargained for can be taken away tomorrow in the halls of Congress. To me, this election's real simple. It's about one question. It's a question we've made famous in the labor movement. Which side are you on? And this is a simple question in this election, because on one side, you got a billionaire that serves himself and his billionaire buddies. He lies, he cheats, and he steals his way to the top. He's a lapdog for the billionaire class. And on the other side, we got a strong, intelligent, and I'm just going to put it bluntly, a badass woman. And I got to finish that sentence. A badass woman who stood on the picket line with striking workers. A leader who opposed free trade deals that have devastated the working class in this country, devastated our communities. A leader who takes on corporate greed and wins. Kamala Harris is a champion for the working class, and like all great leaders, Kamala Harris knows it's not all about her. It's about the people. It's about the quality of people she surrounds herself with. And you know, yesterday, Kamala Harris showed great leadership when she chose Tim Walz as her running mate. And it's no secret, our union was loud and proud about who we supported for vice president, and Tim Walz was at the top of that list. He's one of us. He's a working class guy. He knows working class values. He was a teacher, a coach. That's right, there's teachers in the house. Another group of people who've been left behind. He's a teacher, he's a coach, he's a governor, but best of all, he's a proud union member. And he always puts the working class first. With the Harris-Walz ticket, we have what I call the dynamic duo for democracy. Meanwhile, on the other side, we know who we're dealing with. Donald Trump is a scab. And his sidekick isn't any better. J.D. Vance is a vulture. That's right. You know, every time Donald Trump gets a chance, he trashes our union and he trashes the working class. He comes to Michigan. He talks about he's going to bring back the auto industry. Let me tell you something. Donald Trump doesn't know shit about the auto industry. And he doesn't give a damn about the working class in this country. And we got proof of that. You know, once upon a time, he was president of this country. And while he was president, auto plants were fleeing the country. In fact, while he was president, Ford's Romeo engine plant closed. GM's Baltimore transmission plant closed. GM's assembly plant in Lordstown, Ohio closed. In fact, in the UAW, we love using facts. And facts are indisputable. Not alternative facts that Donald Trump uses, or what we all call lies. We use facts. And the fact is this: Donald Trump did nothing to help auto workers when he was president. In 2019, GM workers went on strike for 40 days. Donald Trump was president. These workers went on strike to try to save plants that were slated to close, to try to fight for a future. Donald Trump said nothing, and Donald Trump did nothing to help auto workers. You want to know where Kamala Harris was in 2019? She was on the picket line with striking workers. Kamala Harris stands shoulder to shoulder with working class people, not for a picture, not for publicity, but because it's the right thing to do. When Kamala Harris, as vice president, she's worked with us and helped us bring jobs back to Lordstown, Ohio, where workers were left behind. Vice President Harris took action so workers who were forced to leave Lordstown, Ohio under Donald Trump are now returning home. She and President Biden worked with us to save a plant in Belvedere, Illinois that was slated to close. That's the difference. Donald Trump is all talk, and talk is cheap. Kamala Harris walks the walk. She does the work, and when help was needed, she showed up. So now it's our turn. It's our turn to stand up, to speak up, and to show up for Vice President Harris. You know, for months, Donald Trump's went around trashing our state, trashing our industry, and trashing the American auto worker, saying he was against electric vehicles. And then something happened. We saw a transformation in Trump. Now, don't get me wrong, it wasn't a good transformation. And don't worry, Donald Trump's always going to be a scab. But we saw Elon Musk announce that he's going to give Donald Trump $45 million a month. And all of a sudden, guess what? Donald Trump changed his tune. And let me quote what he said. I'm for electric cars. I have to be because, you know, Elon Musk endorsed me very strongly, so I have no choice. End of quote. Donald, you got it. Donald Trump is bought and paid for by the billionaire class. Trump is a sellout, and as president, he already showed us that under him, America is for sale to the highest bidder. He's the epitome of what's wrong with America. When three families in America have as much wealth as the bottom 50% of Americans, we have a crisis on our hands. Millions of Americans are working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, working 2 and 3 jobs, living paycheck to paycheck, just to scrape to get by. That's right. This election is a choice. It's a choice between the working class having a shot at a better future or going backwards as millions of people get left behind. This is why I love Detroit. We're in a fight for what we call the 4 core issues. And that's what this election's about. Living wages, not minimum wages, living wages, so one job you can live. Adequate health care, so when you get sick or have something go wrong, you don't have to lose your home over it. Retirement security. You know, 60% of Americans have no retirement savings. Not because they're not responsible, because by the time they pay their bills, there's nothing left. Okay, we need a medic over here. You got it? Okay, you got it. Thank you. That's what we do. We stand up for each other. We look out for each other. We got each other's back. You know, and the 4th thing we stand for, it's about getting our time back and taking our lives back. So we don't spend our lives working 12 hours a day. We can actually spend time with our families. So let's be clear. This is a fight against corporate greed and the billionaire class, and it's pathetic. Donald Trump and his band of right-wing weirdos want to blame anyone but themselves. They want to blame electric vehicles. They want to blame China. They want to blame the union. They want to blame anything they can come up with to avoid the real problem. Corporate greed gone wild. You know, we keep hearing about inflation in this election. Let's talk about inflation. You know, this is the reality of inflation. It's hurting Americans. But what they don't talk about is what the cause of the inflation is. Inflation wasn't policy-driven. It wasn't the president's policy. It was greed-driven. And thanks to Donald Trump's inaction when he was president during a COVID pandemic, the billionaire class and the corporate class do what they do best. They use a pandemic to price gouge the hell out of the people. But they're right about one thing. Working class people are hurting. For decades, we've been ignored and trampled at our worst. But we are the vast majority of society. We have the numbers. We have the votes. And when we stand up united, we put fear in the hearts of the billionaire class. Their agenda is to keep us weak by dividing us. It's the oldest trick in the book, and it's effective. Time and again, the wealthy divide the masses so the rich can walk away with the massive profits that we create. They try to divide us by gender. They try to divide us by nationality. They try to divide us by race. They talk about who you love, where you're from, or how you look. The working class has been left behind, and I don't know how you feel, but I'm fucking angry. They want us to point our fingers at each other. They want us to be distracted and divided so we don't talk about what really matters. Who you work for, where the profits go, and who benefits. Last year, auto workers of all walks of life decided to stand up in solidarity and take on the big three. And we won. We won because we were united. We were united against the true enemy, the billionaire class. The working class will always win when we unite in a common cause. Like Vice President Harris says, when we fight, when we fight, that's right, and we will win. We will win when the people in power stand with us. We will win when we stand up for what we deserve. And that's why the UAW and working class people are standing up for Kamala Harris, because she's walked the walk. And we know this, under a Harris-Walz ticket, America's not for sale. So, Michigan, I have a question for you. Are you ready to stand up? Are you ready to stand up for humanity? For decency? For solidarity? Are you ready to stand up, speak up, and show up for Kamala Harris? This is our generation's defining moment, and this election is our opportunity to take our lives back. So, Michigan, let's get to work.